Agent, I just remembered Berserk is going to continue. Okay, okay. The team announced it last night. Let's get into this, guys. So this has been a topic of discussion in some of the my other friends' streams here. Let's get into this. Sorry if I'm kind of late with the chat. Agent, Eddie is agreeing, is pointing up here, finishing the current arc and doing at least one more. Okay, okay, I'm caught up with the chat. It's time for another drink. Unsponsored stream, guys. Zevia Calorie Energy Drink. Raspberry Lime. Let's get another sip of this stuff. Unsponsored, but I will shill. Zevia, if you're listening, I will get a tattoo of this on my forehead. Let's get another drink. How do you guys feel? Well, let me know your thoughts on Berserk coming back. I'm all caught up in Berserk. I read what was then thought to be the final chapter, and I was moved. It was not the ending that Miura had conceived of, that he envisioned. But if the series was to end there, and I don't really want to spoil it for you guys. The last frame from that comic, from that issue for Berserk, was simply a portrait of a character in tears. And I thought, if it was ever going to end like abruptly, this was probably as good as it was going to get. And if we were then going to close the door on Berserk, hey, I was okay with it. Because for everything that we got from Berserk, from the beginning to that point, it was beautiful, it was gorgeous. And in my opinion, Miura's work in fantasy, I know we were talking about fantasy, good fantasy now. In my opinion, Miura's work in fantasy it belongs on the same shelf as the other luminaries of the genre. You know, it belongs right beside George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones. It belongs right beside J.R.R. Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. It's that important in terms of fantasy, to say nothing of the fact that it's a manga and not a book, not a story. I just think it's that important. But it was an incomplete work. And I think I'm kind of okay with that. Now, the fact is, Eddie, it's kind of hard to explain because all I want to say is that it's that shit. Based on the letter and team and Mori released, I'm okay with it. It's that shit. Sakuga is an animation style. I'd say look it up. Okay. Damn fine energy drink, Harry. Yellow, it's clear. It doesn't look like Pikachu pee. It's actually just like clear colored. So the letter comes out, and I'm actually a little moved by that letter. I feel like, you know, I'm so cynical. I'm sure many of you guys are like this too. I'm so cynical when it comes to the entertainment industry and what people do and what people say. Are these things genuine? When people say, oh, I love this and that, and that's why I wanted to take up this role. Like, come on, guys. Are you for real? Or is you just blowing a lot of smoke? And for me, let's just close this right now because we're not actually working. I felt like the letter that was written by, I believe, Miura's closest friend. Can you post a link? You can indeed. I appreciate asking. That's all I ask, is that you ask and then please post away. Sorry, caps lock. Oh, I thought you were just really excited about this link. You know, like, I need to post this link. The letter felt heartfelt. It felt like it was coming from the right place. And I'll say that for anyone, if anyone was going to continue Berserk, right? If anyone was going to work on it and continue this story, this is the team. These are the guys. This is the team that was going to do it. It's his assistants, right? It's comprised mostly of his assistants that had been working with him for a very long time. That's just how manga artists work, they have like a whole team involved, right? Rather than in comics where there's like just the artist, and then of course there's colorists and stuff. But yeah, in terms of making the page, there's like the background artist and stuff. It's not all done by one person. Anyways, this is the team, right? You've got all of his assistants who have been working with Miura beside him, grinding it out. And you've got his close friend, who I understand is an artist himself, who's been talking with Miura ever since before Berserk was ever published. Miura was just like a high school student with a sketchbook, and he would talk with his friend, show him these sketches, tell him about the story. He was very intimately knowledgeable about where this story was going, and he would talk with Miura apparently all the time about where this story was going. And so again, I feel like this is the guy, these are the people who should be doing it if we were going to get it, if we were going to get this. Sakuga, okay, I'm opening this up on my second screen, by the way. But yeah, as the agent said, based on the letters the team and Mori released, I'm okay with it. I'm with you on that. And I'm gonna catch up with the chat, and then hopefully I don't forget what I want to say. Girl, I have surrendered to the reality that I may never reach the end of Berserk with the amount of other comics that I have to read, so it may only hit me later, like in a few years. I say, read it. Just read it. Keep in mind that manga is a very different kind of reading experience compared to American comics, and so you can consume Berserk much faster than you would be able to read any other kind of like American comic, because Berserk isn't a very text-heavy kind of manga, right? Like, or story comic, right? Compared to an American thing, you can really knock it out pretty fast. And man, let me tell you something, Goro. What exactly is these other more important comics that you have to read other than Berserk? Are you gonna read Sleepwalker? Like, come on, let's put Sleepwalker a little lower on the priority chain and move Berserk up. I think it's a little more important. Goro, I might reach the end and be like, oh shit, Miura dies at this part? Agent, for anyone who reads Mori's letter, he literally says that Miura told him, you are the only person I've ever told the entire story of Berserk to. Yeah, which is crazy. Goro, fantastic. Everything you just said about Berserk. Oh, I see this Sakuga thing. This has loaded up. There's a lot. I'm looking at fireworks. The fireworks are very pretty. Oh, is this so what movie is this? What anime is this, Eddie? Because this looks nice. I like it. I'm getting more into slice of life manga and oh, so this is the animator. Oh, and he did the Rock Lee fight? Okay. The Rock Lee fight. Very well then. Say no more. So this is an actual person, or is this an art style? It's a bunch of them. It's known as the animation style. Interesting. I didn't know that. I have to say that I have some gaps in my knowledge when it comes to animation and stuff. I didn't realize that we had these kind of like titles for these styles of animation. Very cool. It's like when they do things like Redline. Oh, okay. That's style. Okay, cool. Because, yeah, initially I was like, is that a person? But yeah, Berserk, man. Let's go. I'm cool. I'm cool with it. And the other thing I'll say, because I said I didn't want to lose my thought, and now I potentially may have lost my train of thought. Okay. Give me a second here, because I'm also simultaneously trying to build a waifu model while talking about anime. Super big nerd here. Let's see. K3, K1, and K6. K3, K1, and K6. It'll come to me. It'll come to me. We'll just move on. We'll move on with our lives and talk about other stuff or whatever. Oh yeah, I remember now. The other thing I wanted to say was I feel like I can make this division in my mind. I can make a little bit of a separation between Miura's work from the beginning to the point where he stopped, or, well, he died, and everything that was going to come after. I feel like it's okay to make that separation, even though they're going to be continuing the story and it's going to be obviously the same continuity. It's fine. Like, whatever happens for the rest of the manga, it's not like this situation. Do you guys remember when, like, Star Wars, the prequels came out and everyone was like, George Lucas raped my childhood? You know, like he ruined it. I hate it now. All of Star Wars is ruined. That's not a thing for me. I feel like, you know, some things in Star Wars can be really cool, and then some Star Wars things can kind of suck. You know what I'm saying? It's fine. And there's something to be said about this, about the new guys. They're not new guys. There's something to be said about his assistants now carrying forward his will. Now they're in the big show. Now they're going to be stepping up. I think Miura would have been really proud of his assistants to really up their game, to really step into the limelight and become something bigger than what they were before, you know? I think that's great. Like, too often we're kind of like beholden to these superstar names, and I can be like that too, to be honest, right? I can be the sort of guy that's like, oh god, it's Kojima. I love Kojima. I love you know, this director, this artist, this musician, you know. But there's a danger in that where you're kind of not allowing a new generation to appear. You're not allowing growth. And I would hope that that his assistants, which are now, again, being given this tremendous opportunity, I hope they knock it out of the park. You know what I'm saying? And I think they can knock it out of the park, because I think, this is just speculation, they did a lot more work on Berserk than people realize. Do you know what I'm saying? Miura did a lot. There's no doubt about that. Miura did a lot of work, and he's an amazing artist. But I suspect that his assistants did a lot more work on that manga than anyone truly realizes. If you look at the manga that is primarily written by Miura but drawn almost entirely by his assistants, the name escapes me, but it's kind of like a Greek mythology looking kind of manga. Someone else can look it up, or I can look it up on my break or whatever. It doesn't look too far off from Berserk. Like, if that is what we're getting in this new era of Berserk, then I think we'll be fine. I think. Eddie, it's like when they do things like Redline. Oh, I read that. Instead of making a whole movie, they just make a fight scene or something special. Ah. Yeah, okay, I get you now. Because I've definitely noticed that in an anime where there's just like that one part in an anime where it just seems insanely more special. The animation, insanely more just a next level thing compared to the rest of the anime. Okay, okay. I get you, I get you. And Goro agrees regarding Berserk and all that. Okay, we're working, we're putting these things together. This is the legs, these are the legs, and once we finish up the legs, the only remaining part will be her vacuum cleaner. But yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay with Berserk continuing. I mean, I'm a little skeptical, no doubt, no doubt, but let's bring it on. Sure, why not? Let's not be too precious about these things. Certainly, I was elevating Berserk to a higher standard, a high standard. Certainly, I was propping it up, but at the same time, let's not be too precious. If it sucks, it sucks. That's okay. We can move on with our lives. Give me a moment, folks. BRB. Goro. I'll always have Sleepwalker to go back to. Yeah, what's the difference at the end of the day? It's like Berserk, Sleepwalker, just a hair below, slightly, just a tiny little microscopic difference between Sleepwalker and Berserk, just ever so slightly. But otherwise, they're virtually indistinguishable. That's an in-joke between us. For those that are wondering, Sleepwalker, the Marvel character, Goro is a fan. I think we're just about the only two people in the entire world that know about Sleepwalker. Oh, Night Trap as well. The other thing about Berserk is that potentially we might be getting this story, the continuation of this story, at a regular rate. You know what I'm saying? We won't be waiting months or years for chapters. We just very well might see the completion of the story of Berserk in our lifetime. Which is, it's rather exciting. I might actually live to see the completion of Berserk, because that was a very real concern, that I might die before it all would finish, or ever finish. Goro, the other comics I have to read are mostly other manga, Blade of the Immortal, Akira, Ito. I may prioritize Berserk now, though, since it's on the mind and I am playing the Muso game. Yeah, I mean, Akira is really good. Ito, really, really good. But I don't think reading all of those manga is going to take a terribly huge amount of your time. You're going to be able to knock those out. Reading manga, as I was saying, it's a little easier to go through all of that compared to a Western comic book. If you're talking about books, then it's like, yeah, it's, you know, like for me at least, I feel like I've got a big stack of books. Will I ever read them all in my lifetime? I don't know. But manga? You can read manga. Agent Moray did say he'd only cover the storylines he 100% remembers from how Miura described it to him, and if he has any doubts about a part of the story, he will not do it. You know, that's to me, I would rather he take liberties. Well, no, that's not the right word. I would rather he ensures that the story is cohesive, even if it means that he has to a little bit fudge some stuff. If there's some gaps in his knowledge between him and all the notes and all the assistants involved, if there is some sort of issue where the story just doesn't come together perfectly, I would rather that Mori and everyone involved tweak it in some fashion to make it all work. And I'm not saying fully just make shit up, but maybe a little bit versus what has been communicated to him from Miura. There's no way, by the way, there's no way of us ever knowing. There's really no way for any of us outside of that close personal circle to ever really know what was communicated to him, unless we look at the notes, unless we can Inception get into his brain or anything. And I'm a little, again, maybe it's the jaded part of me where I'm a little like, I don't know. How much of this is true? I don't know. Could he be just kind of like trying to reassure fans by like overstating, and at the end of the day he will be kind of like trying to make certain things up? I don't know. I really don't know.